Well, Blair and I worked together on the science curriculum mapping committee, actually with Mr. Velardo, and we really, this was 2 years ago, I guess it started, had to dive right into the next generation's science standards, which were radically different than anything that we were previously teaching science-wise in our classrooms. And we kind of ran into the issue, we're not only trying to deconstruct these standards and figure out what they mean for our kids, but we also had zero money for resources.
That's true.
$300 for the entire district, no money for resources. So we were kind of thinking, you know, how are we going to not only get these teachers to teach these new standards, but what are we going to be able to do to support them in this, because everything was so new. So it was Blair's idea to write the grant, and this is actually through Scholastic. They had come up with grade level sets of books that meet the standards.
Very teacher friendly. Teachers can go in, pull the folder out, look and see what standard they're teaching, and pull the correct books for those. One of the things that I did in my classroom, which is a little bit different with the new standards, is we kind of switched from teaching the basics of habitats to teaching more of ecosystems, and that's more complex for second graders. So one of the things we did was I just kind of laid out all the books that worked for that standard, and the kids kind of did a book walk. And the essential question that I had on the board was, what is an ecosystem? And we spent our science time that day just looking at the books, and the kids were post-it noting through those books trying to answer that question. And then at the end we kind of compiled all of our answers. And what they came up with was truly amazing, from just having 30 minutes rotating through and looking at these different books. So they've been a really great resource for our kids here.
There's a really good variety too of text levels in there. There are some super easy readers, you know, for my kids, like one sentence on the page, to books that, you know, are more appropriate for myself to read aloud to them. And with what Blair said, allowing the kids to engage with these texts on their own, it's also, you know, then kind of doing double duty with Common Core, and how, you know, a really big emphasis needs to put on their ability to read and interact with informational text in addition to literature. And some of them, it's a really good range too of, you know, some of them are just like the all about book with the pictures, and some of them are more of a narrative nonfiction and, you know, with illustrations rather than photographs, and so it really exposes them to a lot of different things. And I think just as a whole, having this made the rest of our staff feel a lot more supported, like they knew there was something that they could go to, because besides what we were able to gather from our curriculum mapping project, like I said, the standards were so different that they couldn't rely on, you know, the materials they've been using for the past 5-10 years.
And we've had a lot of teachers come up and say, thank you so much for writing this grant. It's helped us tremendously in our classroom when we didn't quite know what direction to take it. These anchor texts really helped us out. So I know it's appreciated by everybody in this building.
They're not so scared of next generation anymore.
Yeah.
They used to be.
Yeah.